How a Romance Novel Saved the Galaxy by Ariana Daralte. Chapter 11. Femor. Femor's life had been quite peaceful recently. Taking up the role of a Jedi Watchman after the clusterfuck of Qui-Gon repudiating him at the same time as Xanatos had been a good idea. It got him away from the gossips at the temple and allowed him to focus his attentions on local life and politics in this sector. Those sort of details had always been his strength. This request for his services had come from one of the more gullible planets in the sector. Lalin and her people had a reputation. All were welcome to visit their planet and partake of its bounty. Tariffs were low and the laws were minimal. In fact, there was only one law. The Lalin people must care for others. So the planet itself was a strange mix of retirement communities, casinos, hospice, and respite care for the ill, spas, smugglers, and pirates' dens, and refugee camps. Femor had been called to Lalin near the beginning of his posting to negotiate a dispute, but they had hardly needed his presence. A smuggler had stolen medical supplies from one of their hospitals. He had dumped the supplies and tried to run when caught, but the hospital had demanded he take the supplies and anything else he wanted, since he obviously needed it more. The exceedingly embarrassed and shamed smuggler had just needed to be pointed in the direction of a planet which had suffered a recent tsunami and could use the supplies much more than his hot fires. Honestly, Femor had been low-key terrified of the Lalini ever since. They wielded social shame with more skill than he did his lightsaber, that's for sure. He headed to the coordinates he had been given and was unsurprised to find it was a spa known for its multiple fountains. Watchman Femor, said Iko, the government official who'd been assigned his care last time. Welcome again to Lalin. Iko handed him the mixed drink that Femor had loved when he was here. Of course, he had never indicated that at the time. The Lalini really were kind of terrifying. He bowed and took the drink. Thank you, Iko. I'm happy to be of service again. The Jedi dedication to service is one we Lalini truly appreciate, said Iko, gesturing for Femor to follow him deeper into the spa. We were hoping you could help us provide some aid for a young man with an issue only a Jedi can solve. I will do my best, said Femor. It was always better to be as non-committal as possible in these sorts of situations. Iko moved his hand in one of the Lalini gestures of appreciation. They entered a room covered in patterned tiles of blue and green. A waterfall cascaded softly down the side of one wall, while comfy furniture and soft lighting spread across the room. Seated rather uncomfortably in a chair which consisted of a giant stuffed ball of fluff was a Mandalorian. Their helmet was on the floor next to the chair. Femor was glad to know that there were no weapons in sight. Benin of Clan Chris, this is Watchman Femor of the Jedi Order. We hope this meeting brings you much joy. And Iko left them alone. Benin seemed to be struggling to figure out what to say, so Femor politely took his time, finding a slightly less squishy ball to drag opposite the Mando. He settled into it cross-legged and took a long, savoring sip of the salty, sweet drink. Delicious. Master Jedi, said Benin finally, I have sought out a Jedi, in order to ascertain certain truths. He picked up a book from the table next to him and held it out to Femor. I would request that you read this and tell me how accurate it is about the Jedi. Femor took the book. The title page said, The Mandalorians' Dilemma, by Mora Damor. He flipped through to a random page and raised an eyebrow. The margins of the text were covered in notes which read such things as, more accurately known as the K-44 slug thrower, and, did Mandalore have hot springs then? Look it up. It shouldn't take you too long, said Benin. He'd have been perched on the edge of his seat, if not for the chair attempting to swallow him whole. Femor was not sure his eyebrow could climb any higher. I'll read it, he assured the young man, though I can't reveal any Jedi secrets. Benin nodded. Understandable. He made no move to do anything other than watch Femor. Apparently, he was supposed to read the book right now. Femor held back a sigh, but opened the book to the first page. The blaster bolt ricocheted off the dead Mando Ade's armor and right into Nared's jetpack. He'd been hovering over the Jedi trying to get a better shot. He fell right on top of the Karkin Gemet. The Jedi's weapons stuttered out when it hit his Beskar, and they both collided hard. His boucher hit the Jedi's head with worrisome force. Ow! Ned wasn't sure which of them had said it, but he must have hit his head harder than he thought because all he could think about was how up close the Jedi's eyes were the color of clouds before a storm.